Welcome back to the Quiet Millionaire, where we don't chase wealth, we regulate into it. Ever notice how even rest feels like failure? Ever feel like slowing down is more terrifying than burning out? Ever wonder why urgency still runs your mornings, even when you know better? Today, we're not talking mindset. We're addressing what's underneath your money behavior. This space is not about piling on strategies or pushing another system. It's about noticing the pulse in your chest, the tension you hold in your jaw, the way your stomach knots. Each time the calendar turns or the markets shift, you already know how to move, to drive, to force. But what if, tonight, you just let yourself put the weight down? Imagine walking through your front door, dropping the heavy bag that's cut into your shoulder. For the first time in a long time, your hands are empty. You're allowed. There's nothing to prove. The tightness inside your ribs, that's not proof you're living responsibly. It's just familiar pain. Let that land. You don't have to carry it just because you always have. For years, you've measured your safety by achievement. But the body doesn't lie. It's never learned that wealth can be quiet inside. Every small gain, followed by suspicion. Every success, chased by tension, never permission to settle. To let money take root and belong here, with you, without the nervous system sounding alarms. This is where most people get stuck, trying to outwork a biology that is bracing for loss. Even in the middle of gaining, the cost is real. Constant tightness, a home life that feels transactional, rest that never restores. That isn't your failing. That's the discipline you were handed. But it's not the only way. Here's what I want you to try. As you listen, practice noticing every place your body is holding on. Name it. Notice it. Allow yourself the relief of putting it down just for a few breaths. You're not failing if you need relief. You're simply letting wealth become familiar, safe, rooted, not just earned. This isn't theory. This is your nervous system adapting. Quiet wealth isn't an outcome. It's a practice relationship with safety. You don't need to chase. You just need to return. Here's the sabotage pattern. Most of us build our relationship with money like we're training for war. Always on. Always bracing. It's not failure. It's conditioning. You already know this. We were shown, through pressure, through reward, that safety follows effort. So the only thing that feels real is the grind. You normalize burnout, then you call it progress. Think about running on a treadmill that never, ever stops. You set the speed higher each month. At first, it feels like an accomplishment, but soon, the treadmill becomes the ground you live on. You wake up on it. You answer emails before your feet hit the floor. You hold phone calls in the shower. Even celebrating an extra client, a bigger payout, doesn't let you step off. It just raises the speed again. This is where most people get stuck. Every act aiming for wealth is linked to stress in your body. Your nervous system has learned, if you slow, you fall. If you hesitate, you lose. Rest becomes guilt. Pausing feels like danger. Let that land. You check Slack at dinner, apologizing for time off you haven't taken. You use weekends to scheme, fix, optimize. Not because you want to, but because the alternative feels unstable. The tension in your chest when you watch money coming in, that's your wiring saying, something's not safe yet. Here's what I want you to try. See this pattern without flinching. It isn't weakness. It's wiring. Every step pushing past your natural sense of enoughness, your body takes note. You don't have to prove you deserve to rest, but you've never shown the system another way. That's the discipline. We've confused wealth with surviving. We treat making money like chasing oxygen, as if steady. Breath will vanish unless you work for every inhale. No wonder every dollar rise paired with tension and never enough. Until you show your nervous system true safety, every win will still cost you. Now that we see it, let's shift. Let's flip this. Most people think more money means more freedom, but your body isn't convinced. For a lot of people, especially if you grew up watching volatility, silence, or guilt around money, expansion doesn't feel like relief. It lands more like a test. Conversation gets tight. Breath gets shallow. You notice it when a payment pops up in your account. The first instinct is to look for what could go wrong, not to let the gain settle. There's nothing wrong with you. This is a nervous system that's been trained to brace. It treats wealth like a stranger at the door, vigilance instead of arrival, scanning instead of settling. Here's what I want you to try. When a new dollar enters your life, whether you earned it, received it, or found it on the street, pause. Don't move right into spending, planning, or running. Place a steady hand on your chest or your belly. Let yourself register the truth. Nothing is being taken from you. Nothing is under threat. Just let the money be in the room and let your breath slow down. 30 seconds is all it takes. It won't feel dramatic. That's the discipline. Think of the daily rituals you already have. When you get a receipt at the store, instead of crumpling it up or tossing it aside, hold it flat in your palm. Look at it. Read the total. Remind your body, I can spend. I can keep. I am safe in both. If you check your balance before bed, don't do it as a bullet point to dread. Put your phone down for a second. Feel the chair beneath you. Check your account slowly, without chasing or bracing. These are micro-exposure sessions, rehearsals for stability, not for performance. This isn't a fix. It's a frame. Anchor this once. Repeat when it wobbles. Each repetition, your nervous system gets evidence. I can receive. I can hold. Safety isn't built by talking. It's built by proving, quietly, over time. For most of your life, you measured yourself by your income, your revenue chart, or the size of your account. Every time money moved up, you felt higher. Every time it dipped, your stomach turned. It's so common, nobody even questions it. But it's the wrong metric. Most of us pulled this in as kids. Maybe we only got attention when we performed. Or maybe family life made money seem like proof of safety. Now as adults, our nervous systems reflexively scan cash flow to decide if we're safe to rest, or if we have to double down. It's automatic. It's exhausting. And that's not your identity talking it as a tangled loop between survival and numbers on a screen. Here's the shift. Your personal worth doesn't change because of your bottom line. Your value isn't calculated like a balance sheet. Your worth stays put, whether the market is up or down. I want you to see your self-worth as a settled fact, inchangeable, complete. Meanwhile, view your finances like the investment markets. They rise and fall, sometimes for reasons you couldn't plan. Look at a 5-year chart for any index or business. You'll see spikes, valleys, long plateaus. None of these trends comment on the inherent value of the asset there. About movement, not meaning. In real life, when your salary drops or an investment loses ground, it's not a verdict on your capacity. It's data, nothing more. Here's what I want you to try. Next time your portfolio dips or you miss a client target, pause before your nervous system makes it dramatic. See it like checking the weather. Storms come, they go. The market's down. That's not a reflection of your identity. It's the environment reshuffling. Journal the facts. What actually happened? Notice where your mind tries to make that about your value. This is where most people get stuck, letting financial cycles control their sense of self. Instead, practice sitting in the discomfort without personalizing the numbers. Separate. The third quiet shift isn't about adding effort. It's a move from urgency to stewardship. Most think their money needs speed. In reality, wealth is allergic to panic. Urgency is the nervous system's way of saying unsafe, not enough. Most grow up believing speed creates safety, but that urgency becomes a cage. Your chest tightens. Bank transfers feel like fights. Even logging into your accounts, there's a subtle jolt. No one calls out this tension, but it's lived daily. Stewardship is different. Stewardship holds the moment. There's nothing rushed. It's not slow for the sake of being slow. There's just care and clarity instead of scrambling. You become like someone tending a garden, hands in the earth, not rushing the seed. This isn't dramatic. Sometimes it's just choosing not to fire off payment the second you feel discomfort. Sometimes stewardship is logging in, looking for what's needed and not more. Sometimes it's checking your breath before pressing send. That's the discipline. Let that land. Most people scramble because their system is waiting for the world to collapse. But what would shift if you practice moving money with patience? Wealth becomes steady just like a garden season. You plant what's real. You water what matters. Some days, nothing changes on the surface, but beneath, roots form. Next season, a shoot arrives. The discipline is to remain. Keep showing up, even when the field looks bare. Here's what I want you to try. The next time you need to move money, pause. 3 breaths, ask, am I stewarding or scrambling? If you feel your body racing, delay the action, wait for it to settle, then move. Over weeks, your system relearns money is calm. It's not theory. This is your nervous system adapting. Wealth returns to those who create a cycle. They don't demand a windfall. They prepare the soil, accept the seasons, and show up on schedule. Most people crave overnight returns, but overnight returns burn out even faster. Sustainability is a cycle. Notice your patterns. Build around stewardship. Anchor this once. Repeat when it wobbles. You already know this. Real change does not arrive all at once. Teaching your body to feel safe in receiving. It isn't a flip to switch. It's sitting in the quiet after an invoice lands and noticing, for the first time, you're not bracing for the loss. Give that a moment. Let that land. This is where most people get stuck. They expect safety to feel spectacular. Usually, it just feels a bit less tense. That's the signal to watch for. When your worth loosens from what shows in your accounts, there's relief and discomfort. You'll want to reach for measurement again, labels again. Resist the urge to speed through that liminal space. This isn't theory. This is your nervous system adapting. Integration is not a sprint. That's the discipline. Stewardship over urgency looks plain in practice. Maybe you pause before transferring money. Maybe you sit with a small surplus instead of immediately deploying it. You're learning not just to control, but to let wealth rest beside you, even if it feels foreign at first. If this shows up in your week, pause there. Let it be unfamiliar. Repeat until familiar. Quiet wealth begins here, and it continues, one small anchor at a time. Here's what I want you to try. Hold these truths, not as affirmations to recite once, but as rhythms to embody every day. Wealth is safe in my body. My worth is not measured by my bank account. I move money with steadiness, not with fear. I am learning to let